This is the headquarters of JP Morgan. This is the headquarters of BlackRock. And this is the headquarters of a company that effectively has no CEO you've ever seen on TV, has about 100 employees, and is run out of a tax haven. Last year, this ghost company made more profit than the titans of Wall Street. But that isn't the scary part. The scary part is what they are doing with that money. This crypto company holds more US government debt than Germany, Australia, or South Korea. If they were a country, they would be a G20 power. Everyone thinks the US government wants to kill crypto. I'm here to tell you that you are wrong. They don't want to kill it. They found a way to weaponize it. Welcome to Growth. I'm Xuan, your guide to money and navigating the frontier of innovation. Today, we're looking at the silent deal that is quietly saving the American empire and the price you pay for using it. In physics, we study phase transitions. It's that specific moment when you hit water to 100 degrees Celsius. Suddenly, the liquid disappears and becomes steam. The substance is still same. It's still H2O, but the rules of how it moves, how it expands, and how much power it holds change completely. Right now, the US dollar is going through phase transition. For the last 80 years, the dollar was a liquid. It flowed through heavy pipes, banks, SWIFT, and wire transfers. It was slow. It took 3 days to settle. It required permission. But in 2025, the dollar turned into steam. We call these steam stablecoins. Specifically, USDT, well known as Tether, and USDC. Actually, the new dollar is safer than the old one. The old dollar is based on fractional reserve banking, which means the bank only keeps 10% of your cash and lends the rest out. The new dollar, the stablecoin, is theoretically based on full reserve banking. For every one digital token they print, there is supposed to be $1 sitting in a vault. So if it's faster and safer, why did the US government spend the last 5 years trying to destroy it? Because of control. The old dollar moved through banks that the US government controls. The new dollar moves on blockchains like Ethereum and Tron that nobody controls. Or at least, that's what they thought. To understand why the US changed its mind, you have to look at the scoreboard. In many parts of the world, local currency is melting. Inflation is 50, 60, and 100%. People are desperate for safety. They want US dollars, but they cannot open US bank account. So, they buy stablecoins. But here is the mechanism that most people miss. When a user abroad buys $10,000 of USDT, they are handing $10,000 of real cash to Tether. Tether doesn't just put that cash in a box. They take that cash and they use it to buy US Treasury bills. If you don't have a finance background, here's what that means. A Treasury bill is just a loan. You're lending your money to the US government to fund its military, its infrastructure, and its debt. Because US government pays interest on that loan, Tether makes billions in risk-free profit. Do you see the picture now? Tether is a machine that sucks up the cash from the developing world and lends it directly to the US Treasury. They currently hold over $135 billion in US Treasuries. That means a fake internet money company is now financing the US deficit more than Germany is. This brings us to the silent deal. For years, The plan was for the Federal Reserve to launch its own digital currency called CBDC. But by 2025, that plan was dead. Why? Because the American people rejected it. According to the Cato Institute, 74% of Americans opposed the CBDC because they feared government surveillance. So to politicians, it was a political suicide mission. So the government pivoted. They realized they didn't need to build the digital dollar. The private sector, Tether and Circle, had already built it for them. This is the very context of Genius Act, guiding and establishing national innovation for US Stablecoins Act, passed in July 2025. It didn't ban crypto, it merged it. The act set a simple rule. 1. If you issue stablecoin, you must hold one-to-one reserves in cash or treasuries. 2. You must submit to federal audits. And 3. In exchange, you get a license to operate. The deal is simple. Tether gets to exist and make billions. The US government gets a massive new buyer for its debt. It's not regulation, it's an acquisition deal. But there's one final piece of the deal. If the US government is outsourcing its currency to private sectors, they demand one thing in return: better surveillance. There's a myth that crypto is untraceable. For Bitcoin, that is possibly true if you hold it in cold wallet. For stablecoins, it is the exact opposite. Stablecoins are programmable. Tether and Circle have a kill switch built into the code. It doesn't matter if you have your private keys. It doesn't matter if you are offline. If they blacklist your address, your money freezes instantly. This isn't theoretical. In a single action, Tether worked with the Department of Justice to freeze $225 million linked to the human trafficking syndicate. They have blacklisted over 2,000 wallets to date. From the US government's perspective, this is better than the old system. Physical cash is anonymous. You can put $1 million in a suitcase and vanish. Digital dollars leave a permanent trail on a blockchain. This isn't a bug of the new system. It is the main feature. So, if this is a tool for government surveillance, and Tether keeps all the interest from the treasury bills, why would anyone use this? Why not just stay in Bitcoin or old cash? The answer is utility. Investors don't hold stablecoins because they love the issuer. They hold them because they are ammunition. In the old banking world, moving your cash to an investment opportunity takes 3 days. In the stablecoin world, it takes 3 seconds. That speed is the difference between catching a trend and missing it. And there's also the question of yield. It is true that Tether keeps the interest from the US government. However, the decentralized finance, the DeFi economy, has created a secondary market. Right now, on platforms like Aave or Compound, the market will pay you interest just to lend out your USDT. They are renting them out more easily to the digital economy. This brings us to the great bifurcation. We are seeing the future of money split into 2 distinct branches. Branch 1 is outside money. This is Bitcoin. It is volatile, decentralized, and censorship resistant. It is the new gold. Branch 2 is inside money. This is stablecoins. It is stable, convenient, and highly surveilled. It is the new Visa. The system isn't forcing you to choose one. It is building both. So my question for you is this. In 2030, when you pay for your coffee, do you think you will be using a decentralized coin that nobody controls? or a government-approved digital dollar that tracks every sip? I want to hear your take in the comments below. This was Sean from BuySpark. If you enjoyed the video, press like, subscribe, and hype does matter. And if you want a written version of this video with full references, subscribe to our newsletter. Thank you for watching. Until next time.